Fabulous. Okay, let's see how well our brains are working for us this evening. So if you want to come to stand on your mat for me, going to get things moving a little bit to begin with. So just bringing your feet hip distance apart, find your neutral spine, relax your shoulders down away from your ears, and take a deep breath in to prepare. And then out. Lovely. Now keep that deep breath flowing through as you gently turn your head from one side and then come back to the center and over to the second side. Starting to bring an awareness just below your belly button, drawing your tummy gently towards your spine and keeping your collarbones long. So really isolating that movement to your neck only. So don't let your shoulders twist with it. Lovely. Gentle head turns, one more on each side, and then we add on. Marvellous. Okay, bringing your hands up into your dumb waiter position. Okay, elbows gently pressed in at the waist, again lengthening through the collarbones, a gentle squeeze of the shoulder blades. We're going to take the same hand towards the way that our head is glancing, take our tray of drinks out to the side and then bring it forwards. Same hand to the direction that we're looking in. Okay, so we look right and we take our tray of drinks to the right. Drawing the tension of your belly button a little bit more in as that hand floats away. Drawing the shoulder blades down and together as that hand floats away. One more on each side. Be as tall as you can. Come back to the centre. Opposite hand to opposite glance. So as we look to the right, we glance and we take the tray of drinks to the left. And as we look to the left, we take the tray of drinks to the right. Switching it up a little bit, see how we coordinate. Good stuff. How are you going with that? Very nice. And the tray of drinks that isn't moving, keep it perfectly balanced. So try not to lose any focus on that hand that isn't moving. Okay, now the foot to the same side that you are looking to. So if you're looking to your right, you're going to peel your right heel off the mat as your left hand comes out to the side. Now, as we look to the left, we're going to peel the left heel off the mat as the right hand comes out to the side. I hope I said that correctly. So look to the right, lift the right heel and open to the left with the hand. 3 things moving. Look to the left, lift the left heel and open your tray of drinks to the right hand side. Keeping the tummy gently drawn in, shoulders gently drawn down, collarbones nice and long. Being as tall as we can. This is a lot for me to deal with after the day that I've had today. Been stuck at a computer all day, which is not the norm for me. Good stuff. Right, both heels are going to lift now. Everything else stays the same. So we look opposite direction to the hand. Both heels lift. A little bit more of a balance challenge there. Tightening your pelvic floor as you lift. Good. Well done. We're all still here. One more on each side. Good stuff. Okay, now we're going to take it into our double dumb way to stay looking forwards. So we float up onto tiptoes and open both hands out now. Less to think about, but more of a challenge for those calves. So feeling the back of the legs energize as we lift and lower. Gentle tuck of the pelvic floor as we float up and then release as we come back down again. Just tightening back passage to front passage. Good. 3 more. 2 more. Breathe out as we come up. Let's challenge those calves a little bit longer as we lift and we hold. Stay here and hold. Now you can look forwards, or if you want that balance challenge, add those head turns back in 2 trays of drinks, gently resting on your hands, looking left and right. Keep it going. Can you keep your heels lifted? Those calves should be really warm now. Keep it going. One more glance to each side. Good stuff. Come back to the center and lower down. Release your hands, and you can just switch things up a little bit there for a moment. Good stuff. Well done. Okay, we're going to move on to a little bit of a balance challenge now. And your option with this is whether you're going to take some support or you're going to try and do it without any support. So give yourself a minute just to step to a wall or to hold onto the back of your sofa or something like that. You give it a try without support, and then you can come in and bring some support in if needs be. Lovely. Okay, we all look like we've had a little bit of a glance around at what we could hold on to in a moment if we need to. So I want you just to bring your hands onto the brim of your pelvis. So this is all about pelvic control. So making sure you're in that kind of neutral spine, so not too tilted forwards or too tilted backwards. And we also don't want the pelvic bones to sit higher on each side. So once you've found that position, we're going to gently shift our weight across to one leg and then see if we can release the foot from the floor, either coming low or coming a little bit higher. We come back down, we shift across, we release and we lift. Now, if you need to, as I say, you can find a little bit of support. Make it as light as possible so that you're working really hard with your balance and focusing mainly on that pelvic position. Yeah, so as you lift that leg, what we want to avoid seeing is any of this, so that kind of hitching of your hip across, and you'll see how that changes the level of my pelvis. My hip bone on this side is hitting a lot higher than the other, and it's the muscles in this hip that are working really hard to stabilize. So even though this leg is not moving, it's working to be strong. That's it. Find a little bit of wall if you need to, because it's going to get a little bit harder in a moment, okay? You're doing really good. Remember that your gentle tightening of your centre can help, whether that's your pelvic floor or your lower tummy. Shifting and we lift. And this is a really nice exercise to do at your kitchen counter while you're waiting for your pasta or your potatoes to boil. But we're doing it with control. So often people think, oh, I just need to practice standing on one leg, and they're hinging off the hips, shoulders are sunk down, they've lost any control at their rib cage as well. So we do this with beautiful precision, beautiful control, and we hold the next one. Okay, so you might have some support from your wall. Now your option is to gently press your foot onto the standing leg, or to keep your foot lifted and away. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate the knee out to the side. So if you gently press together, think of your clam movement. Okay, if you're not gently pressed together, think of your hip movement. Okay, that hip twist. But what you want to notice with this is those two pelvic bones stay facing forwards. You've got a beam of light shining out your belly button. Don't let your trunk rotate with that movement, okay? Keep your trunk forwards. Tighten your tummy if it helps. It doesn't matter how far your knee comes away, because you could go quite far but lose all of that control. Now, if at any point you need to, just place that foot down, reset and go again. Quite tricky this, okay? This is the last challenge that we've got before we have a stretch and come down onto the mat. Let's go for 3 more on this side. Well done. Keep it slow if you can. Good work, everyone. 2 more. And 1 more. Lovely. Bring the leg in and come back down. Reset into standing. Now gently shifting your weight across now. This should feel a little bit harder if we tired that leg out already. So we either come into that propped position or that lifted position, and then we add in our opening. So remember, opening could be here with the foot gently pressed to the inner side of the opposite leg. In a standing clam, again watching for that hip position, tucking underneath with the side of your hip, or we're here. Imagine there's a table and you're sliding your leg along the underside of the table. Now that leg's going to get heavy, so we can give it a rest, shake it out, and we can go again. And of course, you could be holding on to the back of your sofa, or onto your mantelpiece. That's it. Yeah, good. But keep your pressure really light with whatever's giving you that support. So you're really working your legs. So we've got 3 more. Breathe out as we open. 2 more. 1 more. Looking good, guys. And then come back in and lower down. Such simple movements, but hopefully you could feel that nice burn building up in the outer side of your hips. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of stretch and flow. We've got a little bit of work on the legs, sorry, and then we'll come down onto the mat. So just reaching down to the outer side of the leg, lengthening through the side of the body, come back tall, and then we'll swap over. Really feeling the sides of the ribs stretch and elongate away from the pelvis. Feels good. Keep your body as flat as you can so we're not twisting. 1 more on each side. Marvellous. Step your feet wide after this next one. So we're going to come into our wide stance, toes turned out, and then again, just carry on reaching down the side of the leg. Just feeling it a little bit more now. The underside of the leg that you're reaching away from, maybe, or maybe you're feeling it a little bit more in the side of the spine. Well done. Enjoy. Starting to reach down to your knees, maybe past your knees, but keeping your body flat. You see how you're doing with that. Pause at the end, breathe out. Really nice, well done. Okay, we're going to hold this next one. We're going to add that reach over the top. Trying to follow that line through the side of your body, yeah? So don't let your arm hang over your head. Keep a little bit of a lift through that arm. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to centre. Second side. Feels a bit harder when we hold, doesn't it? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to centre. A little bit more on the legs before we go down. So turning the toes towards the corners of the room, tucking your tailbone underneath. We take it down into a squat and we push back up. So as we come back up with our squat, we're going to tighten through the pelvic floor. So you really feel that lift on the inside of your pelvis. Keep your shoulders stacked over your hips so we're not coming forwards. We are sliding up and down a wall. We are going to polish that wall with our spine. It's a nice smooth wall. Good stuff. We're not here for long, so you can just stay with these lifts and lowers. Okay, otherwise we're going to come down, we're going to add a little heel lift, lower the heels and then come back to stand. Yeah, so we pause at the bottom, heel lift, heel lower and stand. Now notice nothing changes about the height of your squat when you lift your heels, okay? So you're not pushing yourself back up again. It's almost as if the bottom half of your body is doing something completely different to the top half. So it's all in the legs. Now, if you really keep that head at the same position, you will feel it in your legs a lot more. Imagine you're standing in a room with a really low ceiling and that ceiling has just been painted. So you can't lift up when you're in that squat position until you've lifted your heels. And if the heel lift is too much, just keep going with those lovely squats, maybe working a bit deeper, sending your knees out into the corners of the room, pressing into the outer borders of your feet. Looking good, guys. Imagine there's a little grape in the arch of your foot. Don't squash it. We're going to go for 6 more. 5 more. Don't forget that pelvic floor as you come up. 3 more. 2 more. We're going for it. 1 more. And you know me well enough by now. The last one we hold. So you either hold it in your squat position here or add your plie lift. Keep those Pelvic floor switched on. 10, 9, 8, wobbly legs, yeah, 7, 6, tuck your tail underneath, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Heels down, come back to stand, and bring your feet back together again. Good work, everyone. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit warmer. We are halfway through, making really good progress. We're going to come down onto the mat. We're just going to come down into our box position. So slowly roll yourself down onto the mat. Set your cameras up differently if you need to, and finish off in your box position. So a nice opportunity just to peel down through the bones in the spine. Don't rush. We'll all catch up together when we get there. Okay, walking out into your box position. Good stuff. Okay. So when you get into your box position, think about your key points. So the back of your head is lifted, but you're looking between your hands, shoulders away from the ears, and tailbone nice and long. Okay, we're going to take this into a chest press. So your options are really how low you go. So draw your tummy towards your spine, and as you do that, lower your chest down towards the mat, keeping the back of your head lifted, and then press the floor away from you. Nothing fancy with these, we just slowly lower, and we slowly lift. Okay, we're just going to repeat and repeat and repeat. Now, if you need to, sit back onto your heels, stretch out, take the weight off your wrists, and join back in again. If you want to work a little bit harder, make your box a little bit longer and shift your weight over your hands. You will feel it more in the shoulders. But the key thing with these is focusing on your tailbone. So even though it's a shoulder and chest activity, we want to make sure we don't lose that pelvic control. So imagine there's a piece of string tying your tailbone towards your heels, and you can't pull that piece of string. Keeping that tension constant throughout that piece of string. Yeah, don't let your tailbone lift, otherwise you're going to tear that piece of string. Keep it going. Let me see. Remember, take those rests when you need to, and keep the back of your head lifted. Don't let your nose lead the movement. It's your chest that's lowering down towards the mat, not your face. Good work, everyone. Hopefully feeling a little bit more cardiovascular with this one. So your chest is kind of working a bit harder. Heart rate has lifted. Shoulders are starting to burn. And we are here for 6 more. You've got it. Just push the floor away from you. 5 more. 4 more. Breathing out with the effort of coming down. 3 more. 2 more. Last one, no holds, I promise. You just come down and you push back up, and then you sit back into your heels and you stretch it out. Well done. Give those wrists a little bit of a rest. We've got 1 more exercise in our box. So just give your wrists a little bit of a shake. Well done. We've not done our chest press for a while, and I didn't see many of you taking rests there, so that was really impressive. So we're still going to come into our box. So whenever we're working in our box, we're always loading the shoulders and the wrists, but the focus now is going to be on our hips. So I brought this back in, which is a variation of what we did last week, which was, if you remember, we spoke about drawing rainbows with our legs, but we're going to do it in our box position now. So you're going to take your right leg, draw your tummy towards your spine, and slowly lengthen your leg away. Now you've got a tray of drinks resting on your back, so don't spill it. Float your leg off the mat. Now it's up to you how high your leg comes. It can come 1 inch or so, or it can come all the way up to hip height. Then we take that leg and we tap it out to the side without spilling those drinks. And then we draw a nice big arch with our pencil of our toe, and we tap that leg and we bring it across the opposite foot. So we're aiming to tap to the sides of the mat. Now, if the sides of the mat feel too far away, make your arch a little bit smaller and don't bring your foot quite so high. So have a little look at your options. You're either here, we're going a little bit bigger, yeah, here. Now, most importantly, it isn't about your arch, it's about that tray of drinks that's resting on your back. So you could do that with loads and loads of movement around your pelvis. Think, oh, I've got a lovely big arch, look at me, okay? But actually a smaller arch with good control. And you should almost feel the burn in your glutes changing as the position of your foot changes. And of course, that leg that's not moving is stabilizing us. So keeping that tray of drinks where it needs to be is really dependent on these hip muscles here. And we're drawing the tummy into the spine throughout, so we get those abs firing off. Let me see how you go. And because we're in our 4-point kneeling, we're working our wrists and our shoulders, and we're lifting the back of our head against gravity. So neck muscles are working as well. Great stuff. That was a nice prompt for all of you. So you've got a juicy peach between your chin and your chest. Don't squash it. Don't drop it. Keep looking into your mirror, but drawing your chin ever so slightly in. Good stuff. Do a few more on this side. These look nice and controlled. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you on Thursday when we do this. I'm going to come around and give your hips a little bit of a wiggle. But you're doing a good job. Well done. Don't spill those drinks. 2 more. And 1 more. Now sit back on those heels if you need to, or we go straight into that second side. So it's only if you need to give your wrists a little bit of a rest. But when you're ready, second side, because we don't have much time on a Tuesday evening, do we? And I always run over. So no rest now, we can rest later. But just do your checks again from top to bottom. So make sure your head is lifted, your shoulders are down, and your tailbone is long. Place that tray of drinks on your spine, lengthen your leg out behind you, and tap. Beautiful arch with your toe. And as you go from left to right, try and trace the same shape that you've made. Now, as your leg gets tighter, your arch may get a little bit lower, which is fine, so long as you're keeping that control. But if you can push yourself to go bigger, why not? So long as it's controlled. Good work, everyone. Little or big arches without spilling your drinks. Good, let's think about those heads. Lift the back of the head. Well done, that's better. That worked for everyone. Very nice, little gentle tap. Tap, tap. 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Beautiful. Coming back to your box position and then just sitting back on your heels. Very nice. Okay. So we're going to finish in our rest position. We're going to come and do some abdominal work. A few different challenges for you. We'll see if we can get through all of them. But I know we're short on time. So set yourself up in rest position. Just give you a moment if you need to shift and adjust your cameras at all. So feet are hip distance apart, knees are bent. And we find our neutral spine by just gently pressing the small of the back on and off the mat. Okay, once you've found your neutral spine, you get that tray of drinks again that was just resting on the back of our waist, and you place it on your tummy now and you hold that tray of drinks steady. 2 options. We're going to do scissors. We either do scissors level 1. So we float one leg into tabletop, stack the knee over the hip, and we lower down. And then we bring the second leg in, yeah? So one leg moving at a time, keeping the tummy gently drawn in and keeping that tray of drinks where it is. Okay, your second option is to come up into your scissors level 3. So we jump 2 levels as one leg lifts, the other leg lowers. Now this is all about that control at the lower part of the back. So you've got that little sponge in the small of your spine. Press a little bit more firmly on the sponge, but we're not flattening the back completely. If you can't maintain that pressure on your sponge, you slow it down, yeah? It's about control. It's about doing these movements with precision and control. That's how we get the most out of them. And that's how we teach good movement patterns to our bodies, so that our Pilates helps us with our function in our day-to-day tasks. We're looking good. Lovely scissors here. Okay, so we're going to bring back a little bit more of that coordination that we started with. So I want you to all float your hands and reach up towards the ceiling, but then sink your shoulder blades down into the mat beneath you. Okay, can you count 4 scissors for me? Once you've done your 4 scissors, you're going to take your hands and you're going to reach them over to the top of your mat without letting your rib cage flare up towards the ceiling. And you count 4 more scissors. Once you've done your 4 scissors, you can bring your hands back up and over to shoulder height. Hold them there. 4 scissors. Okay, so 2 on each leg. And then once you've done 4 here, you reach over to the top and you do 4 again, yeah? So 4 with the hands above the shoulders, 4 with the hands above the head. 2 options with your scissors, slow or quick. Imagine you're holding a beach ball. You're just bringing it above your head and above your shoulders. You should feel the difference between the beach ball being over your shoulders and over your head, okay? Most importantly, when it's over your head, think about what's going on at your rib cage. Try not to let your ribs flare up towards the ceiling. Press down on that sponge a little bit more that's resting in your back. Okay, keep going. Hugging the knees at any point if you need a little stretch out. And you've got to keep counting. That's where the concentration comes in. Watch those tabletops when you're not in a when your foot's not on the mat and your tabletop, keep your heel in line with your knee and your knee beautifully stacked over your hips. Well done. Keep it going, looking good. Okay, we're all going to bring the hands over the head now. So reach your beach ball to the top of the mat and keep going with your scissors. So either slow scissors or quick scissors. Okay, just holding the ball where it is. That ball is going to feel like a medicine ball before you know it. Okay, but we're going to do that without letting the rib cage lift. Maybe bringing your hands a little bit higher if you lose that control. Remember the control, tummy drawn towards the spine. Keep going with those scissors. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We don't rest. 2, 1. We come into double tabletop. Squeeze the knees together, hands by the side, and we pulse through the arms. We take this into hundreds, okay? So knees are stacked over the hips, heels and knees pressed together. We pulse, okay? If you want to make it a little bit harder, we extend the feet over the knees, straight leg hundreds. Okay, you can stay here. Or we add a little abdo prep. So 5 pulses, we lift the head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We lift. 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower. 4, 3, 2, 1. We can have the knees bent. Or we can have the legs straight. Now remember, with the abdo prep, we drive the rib cage down towards the waist, yeah? We're using that shortening, that contraction of the ribs, of the abdominal wall to lift the head and shoulders. It's not coming from the neck. So if you're struggling with the neck position, just keep pulsing those arms. Rest at any point, hug the knees in, and we go again, okay? Lengthening the collarbones. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting and lowering. Keep it going. Lovely. Squeeze those thighs if you're in straight legs. Get as much as you can out your hamstrings. That's better. It's actually harder if your hamstrings are tight because your legs are drawing and pulling on your lower back. Good. Watch those tabletops. Don't let those heels sag down. Good. Nearly there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Take a little rest if you need to. 3, 2, 1. Last challenge. We all come to double tabletop and place a drink on the left knee, and we slowly let the right knee fall out to the side. Don't spill your drink. Then we bring that knee back in again, and we take the left knee out to the side. Remember when we were standing and we were doing that hip opening right at the start? We've brought it right back in now, okay? So your non-moving leg stays exactly where it is. The opposite leg twists open, okay? First option, knees are bent. Second option, we straighten the legs and we slowly lower one leg down, yeah? Don't let your pelvis on the opposite side lift. So imagine there's buttons underneath your bottom. Don't come off those buttons. We're nearly there. Slowly out for a count of 3, 2, 1. Back in. 3, 2, 1. Over here. 3, 2, 1. Back in. 3, 2, 1. Good. Keep it going for me. Lift your heels a little bit so they're in line with your knees. That's better. Very nice. Good stuff. Beautiful work. Holding your next one. Take your knee out to the side. Hold and add your pulses with your hands back in. So we're back in our hundreds. Lift those heels in line with your knees. Yeah, or you're here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Swap sides, back to the center, second side, knees bent or straight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Last bit, 2 and 1. Well done. Bring yourself in. Give your knees a hug. Good stuff. That was non-stop for that tummy sequence. So well done. Just gently rock from side to side. So lots of coordination challenges there. Got you thinking on a Tuesday evening. I appreciate your efforts. Lots of strength as well. Bit of a mix though, so you shouldn't feel it too much in one area as we've kind of worked everywhere today. Okay, stretching out as long as you need to. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back